You're in good soil with Kellen and Shay. Plant your seed, water your seed, and watch your seed grow.
Well, first of all, we're going to welcome y'all back to the Good Soil Podcast. We thank y'all for planting your seed and your feet in with us. This is Good Soil. I am your boy, your guy, your main man. I'm Kellen Haynes, and this is my co-host,
Shay Fowler, She Life Coach, the Green Goddess. Yep, no green today. I just thought I'd do a little bit of gray, only because you are in good soil, and sometimes there's a little gray area. And today we got a great topic just for you. We have in the building none other than the pastor, Shawn Holmes of Greater Faith Church.
All right.
Woo!
How you doing, man?
Good afternoon. I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
We good. We good.
Good, man.
Man,
you.
Praying.
Yeah.
Feel no good.
Not at all.
I feel good. You know, I'm in the midst of two great people.
Yeah, you know.
And you do have green on, so we do thank you for
I'm good answer. Good
you know,
answer.
and so then we represent that green as well. But no, I'm feeling good. Y'all feeling great.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to get into what we get ready to discuss
Yeah,
today,
let's
you know,
do it.
All right.
as well.
So our topic today on In Good Soil is prepare yourself. Go and sit down. Take a deep breath. Watch this. The black man and the church. Where they at? I remember growing up, going to church, and there was so many men in the church.
Yeah.
Whether they were ushering, pastoring, in the choir, being deacons, all that great stuff. And you could find you a man in the church. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Well, you find you man. We find women.
We find women.
We find women in the church. Yeah, so, yeah, but we with you though. We with you. We with you.
A good brother.
Yeah, good brother. You know.
In the seat, and we see him, but he be like, oh, okay. And he didn't mind coming over back in the day. Now, you can barely get a man to see you. Because he always like this. Like, we're not trying to take nothing from you, sir. So how do you feel about this topic? The black man and the church.
It varies. It can vary. So what are you looking for the black man in the church for? A lot of times, like I said, though, you said the black man in the church. So what are you looking for the black man in the church to do as well as to represent of the church as well? Black men, they're in the church. And there are so many laws, like you said, that they may have their head down. They're afraid to speak. The whole one make sure they get no harassment or even get a title, you know, as one of the men. If someone see this man speaking to just various women inside the church, he develop a title saying that he's trying to talk to all the women in the church. And so then that makes a man be very reluctant to speak to maybe a woman of your caliber. It's because of the title that be placed on them.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't see that. Did you see that? I didn't see that. Did y'all see that coming? I didn't see that one. But okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. What you got, kids? I like the answer though. I'm going to change my thoughts.
So when Shay brought this title to me, it was Black Man and the Church. So I wasn't coming from relationship or meeting people. I was coming from even starting as young, like, or let's talk about this generation.
Okay.
We got a generation of young men right now that are in search for a God.
Correct.
And they're steering away from church and they're finding other
come on.
religions, or some say I'm spiritual and whatever, the universe, whatever it is, they're in search. So my question is, how do we reach a generation of especially men, because our men are supposed to lead. So how do we reach men or young men, even young, 17, 18, because that's when life starts to hit. You know, I have a 20-year-old son, I have a 14-year-old son.
Right.
How do we reach this generation at this point and meet them where they are actually?
Core curriculum in school, in our metropolitan schools or in schools throughout, said that if you don't reach a child, whether it be male or female, by a certain age, then prepare them for the penal system.
Right.
Prepare them for the justice system, for them to be locked up.
Right.
The problem that we have with us, and you speak of this generation, is that our young black men, whether it be 8, 10, 13, 14, 15, and 20,
Right.
have not been introduced to God.
Right.
Our introduction as a young boy back in the day, I was introduced to God.
Okay.
Where this generation gives them an option.
Yeah.
Whether they go to church or whether they not go to church.
Right.
So
we didn't have that. We were, hey, you get in this car, you're going to go to church, as well as if your mother didn't speak about God, your grandmama spoke.
Yeah.
And if your grandmama didn't speak about it, great grandmama or auntie, it was an introduction.
Yeah.
Right.
Here, there's no introduction to our young men.
Right. Right.
The society as well as the community introduced them to things that take place in the community, such as I introduced you to crime. I introduced you to the neighborhood drug man who said that I care about you.
Right.
Your mother don't care about you. So it has to start with an introduction.
Okay.
And we're not doing it anymore. We give them options, as well as now, since if there's not a black man in the household, you know, you may have a mother say that I'm not going to go to church. I've been to church all my life. So I'm not going to go to church. I'm not going to force you to go to church.
Okay.
So, and other parents, they'll go to church while their kids are still sleeping.
Yeah.
They get up when they want to. So it has to be an introduction, and there has to be an introduction into who God is and what God can do for you.
Okay.
And so our young men are not being introduced to God. And I stand firm on that to this day.
Okay.
They're not being introduced to God.
Okay. So I'm glad you're saying all this, because one of my other questions was so how important, because this is speaking to the young one, was introduced to God, but went astray. I was one of those.
Yeah.
But how important is it that a young man or anybody has their own encounter with God or Jesus?
Correct.
You know, as you know, as they grow older or go forth in their faith, whatever faith, how important is that their personal encounter and not being forced by your parents? Because as young, when we're kids, like you said, we were made. That's how we were introduced. We were made to go to church.
It wasn't even made. It was drugged.
It was part of your lifestyle.
Yeah, it was.
It was like in my house,
especially like for me. Up until I was probably about 13 or 14, I went to church, but my mama made me, but I didn't really. Now, once my daddy went, once he started going, it was like, we going. And it wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts, but even then, it still was a more forced thing. And then my father became a minister and then an elder. So then it took it just
went to another
level.
Yeah.
So, of course, like I said, as I became an adult, having children, living life, I went astray. And then I started my search for everything outside of the church.
Right. But what was that one thing that brought you back into that relationship with God? You do have a relationship with him, right?
I do have a relationship.
But what was that one thing that brought you back?
I don't think it was one thing.
Okay,
I think it was really time.
Right.
However you look at it, it was just time at that particular time. It was always a tugging, but it was just like, you know, I'm doing me. I'm living life, however I'm living life, whoever I'm living life with.
Right.
And I think one Sunday, man, I just woke up and said, man, I'm going to church. Right. Just like that. And I went to church now. I didn't walk down the aisle that morning, but I knew it was time to walk back into the church doors.
Right.
And then the journey from that point just
went.
It just went. So
as that teen or that young man, did you accept Christ at an early age?
I accepted Christ, I believe I was like 14, 15.
I'm going somewhere with this.
Yeah.
You right.
I was going somewhere with this. I'm getting it because we have a seed that was planted on the inside of us. Every street dude, every hood chick, no matter where it be, there's a seed that was planted on the inside of us.
Right.
The seed is being nurtured and also watered to such a time.
Right.
As you said, I woke up one morning and decided to go to church.
Yeah.
Yes. And so the seed is steady at growing on the inside of it.
Right.
No matter how far we stray, no matter what we go down the street, no matter how many drug cases I catch, for the ones who get addicted on drugs, no matter what the alcohol, what it is, the seed is still being nurtured and still being brought forth.
Right.
Such as when I get to a certain time for it to harvest, it produced what was placed in me a long time ago. Meaning is that now I got to get to the source that put this on the inside of me. Because everything else that was trying to water me, I did not accept. Everything that was trying to harm me, it didn't work. But when he started to bring that seed out of me, guess what? Now I'm producing this urge to get back to him.
Right.
And now I'm also planting the seed on to my son or to my daughters to let them know that no matter how far you go and no matter where you go, God will bring forth the seed and also the harvest that he planted in you a long time ago.
Like I said, train up a child.
Train them, and you never. But you have to train them up with good soil.
Right.
Exactly.
And because, like I said, a lot of people follow a hard concrete, where they may solve something we call a generational. Most people call it generational curse. I don't call it. I call it generation behavior.
Okay.
And so if I saw what my parents doing or saw what my father doing, of course, I'm going to do it because I saw them doing, and now it become a habit. And so then, but if they're doing something like grandmama going to church, I've watched grandmama cry many nights, but I also watched grandmama pray for us.
Exactly.
And I used to wonder about this one particular prayer. She'd say, watch over them when they get older. Now I'm 8, I'm 10, and I keep hearing it say, watch over them when they get older. I didn't understand. I watch a part until I got older and I'm faced someone getting ready to rob or kill me. The prayer that grandmama prayed for me when I was younger, it kicked in. It hit me later on. I started thinking to myself, how did I make it out of that situation?
Right.
How did I come out of that? Then I started thinking about grandmama's prayer said, watch over them when they get older. So the prayers that our grandmothers or our mothers prayed for us is now starting to come forth.
Exactly.
She not only didn't pray for just for me as a young man to become a grown man, but she was praying for those grandkids and all the other future kids.
Because Juanita Bynum has a song, and it was, she gives this testimony in this song, and then she hits that, I had a praying grandmother.
I had a praying grandmother.
Yes. We needed that. We needed that. And we didn't know that we needed it.
No, we didn't.
And it was good that you heard it.
Yes.
So that as time came, you could reflect on that and realize I did have that prayer.
Bring them home. When you was out there in the streets, God, I don't care about what they're doing. I just want you to bring them home. Cover them. And you the bullets going past you. Like, what? Why that bullet hit? Why that bullet should hit me? Back it. But that bullet said, not today. Because somebody's been praying for you. And so then we're not covering our kids in prayer. I'm going to be honest with you.
That is so true. I thank you for saying that. So what is we as mothers, a partner, do for our sons, or mate, partner, husband, boyfriend? What do we do to encourage them to come? Because I know a lot of women who have a husband, have a partner in life, boyfriend, and it's been long term, but she comes to church and he doesn't.
Correct.
And she's like, I want him to come. And I always say, well, keep praying about it. It may not come when you want it, but it'll come. But how do we encourage a man? As a woman, how should I encourage my man, my son, to keep coming or go?
A lot of times what we're faced with is these spiritual books. We're faced with a lot of spiritual things. Spiritual. We're not faced with having an interaction with Jesus. That makes sense. I'll read it and I hear it from a artist or I hear it from a author about a certain thing. But you got to be able to let them know, have an interaction with Jesus / God and watch what he'll do for you. But the more I read and the more that I listen to different people, the more I may get discouraged. Because what didn't work for them, now I'm going to think to myself that it's not going to work for me. So this young man or this for your daughter is having a problem because he has been introduced to something different than what we know is God. See, it may work for you, but I'm thinking to myself as a husband or the boyfriend, it's not going to work for me because I lost my mother. I lost this and that. So you're going to a God that has done nothing for me. So we have to be encouraged and said, oh, the song said, "Don't give up on God,
Mhm.
because He won't give up on you."
Yeah.
And so we have to continue to plant smaller seeds.
Okay.
Yeah.
A forced man will rebel,
Yes, he will.
but a man that if you just plant smaller seeds, like I said earlier, he'll grow.
Mhm.
And you can't. A grown man do not want to hear someone keep saying,
Yeah.
"You need to go to church." You know,
Right.
because
No,
y'all can be
no.
hard. Y'all, the ladies can be hard. No, the women, the women can be hard because again, here it is. I'm getting ready to go to church all by myself, taking your boys, taking your daughters, and that's what you hear. Oh no, he's like, "That's your God. That's not my God."
Right.
Yeah.
But when you start planting seeds to this man, believe it or not, he or she is listening. Whether it be the man or the woman, they are listening. But you got to start planting seeds.
And the thing about it is, and that's whether we need, we got somebody that we're dealing with or dating or whatever.
Yeah.
We got to be an example for them, just like everybody else. Our walk is going to always be what's going to speak
Yes.
to whoever's watching.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? If you got a man that you're dealing with and you want him to come to church, you just keep walking the walk that you're walking.
Absolutely.
And like you said, plant that seed.
Plant the seeds.
Just plant the seed. But you keep doing what you're doing and don't go astray because he ain't doing.
Go buy a tie, buy a shirt, and just lay it out on the bed on a Sunday. You know, but he'll start getting it as well. But again, you brought it up, so I got to say it. All right, so you brought it up.
Okay, he coming for me.
And so, no, I'm not coming for y'all. But again, no, it's just saying that you cannot continue to beat a man down.
No, you can't.
With something that you want him to do. It has to be a choice of his.
Yeah.
And that's why I say plant a seed and give him option.
Yeah.
Again, but tell him, hey, don't wait too late because I don't want to look up. We in heaven. Where you at?
Because you know, my question used to be right before, I think it was before I married, when I was on the dating scene.
Okay.
You go to church? No. Okay. So where they gonna roll you up at the funeral home? You okay with that? And they be like, well, that's fine too. Oh, okay. Now I know how you rolling. So
they can roll them in the church. Now you pay a little money. You get to the church. Well, I just said everything is money when it comes to this thing.
Absolutely.
So roll. But we used to have it back in the days is the church that you belong to.
Right.
They didn't charge anything. It's
right.
from as well.
Come on.
Another thing I'm going to say also is that again, with the daughter that may have this husband that she want him to come to church. Again, make him feel like he is the head of the house.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Make him feel like it because again, you beat us down saying, what type of man doesn't go to church?
Yeah.
What type of man is supposed to be leading this family? I'm the one leading. I cook, I clean, I got him going to church. What are you doing? Not knowing that this man may have a problem with religion.
Yeah.
And so therefore we do have to go deep because some of us don't ask those questions when we're dating.
Right.
Like, you know, what happened? Like, what's going on with you? Why you don't do A, B, C, and D? A lot of us don't want to have that conversation. I think this is why I kind of wanted to have this conversation today. Is why aren't they? But we as women, as you said, we do give that. Well, why you not? Why you ain't? And why come? And why is? And I also have to tell women, sometimes you got to calm down and just watch his actions and listen to what he says.
If that man was to be honest with you,
is he ready? Are you ready?
Well, here's the thing. If that man was to be honest with you and say, we wasn't going to church. When I met you, we were smoking, drinking, and late night creeping, and we was doing everything else besides speaking Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now you want to throw this on me. I'm finna roll this up and keep on smoking. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Right.
So this is the thing that we done. If you want a God-fearing man, introduce God in the early stages of your marriage or your relationship.
And
go ahead.
Let me interject right there before you go further. Even if you're rolling, drinking, whatever you're doing, because that's actually like you get into my questions, brother. Because the thing is, a lot of men, it wasn't a question I was making. I wrote a statement, and it was just more about why a lot of black men don't come to church. And a lot of them is because they're living a life that they feel doesn't align with the so-called religious part of church. Because there's a religious part, but then there's a spiritual part. And the religious part is the practice, is the rules, is the everything that they give you.
Right.
And so a lot of men don't want to follow those rules, or they feel like, I'm doing this. I can't go in that church right now. And to me, that's so far from the truth.
Yeah.
Because that's when we need to go.
Yes.
But just think
you
about
should go.
think about I want you to look at this. Think about the preacher who up there preaching.
Mm-hmm.
See, them young men is just looking at us because we got bow ties on, dress and head tie.
Yeah.
But they don't understand that we had the hoodies, we had the Jordans, we had the Air Force,
Same.
whatever.
Before.
But the thing about it is, the same dude that you were trying to say that's judging you was the same dude that was you. You understand that?
So how do you reach that? How do you speak to that as a pastor?
I won't speak to it until you open the door.
Oh.
See, when you open the door to hear what I got to say, then instead of trying to look at me and saying that because I carry this Bible and I'm walking with this cross now. So you got to open the door to want it, because at first you on the defense. You're saying that people are judging you who are in the church. That's a defense. But when you let down the defense and open that door to sit down and let us converse, you will hear that I also was locked up for selling drugs. Okay. I also was the same little dude that was smoking or drinking or whatever, no matter what it was. I was the same guy that you looked at to say that I'm judging you, but only because you don't feel that I care about you.
Right.
See, I care about you, young brother, but you just got to give me the opportunity to show you that. But you already got this defense up and say, I ain't finna go to church, man. All they do is judge. But most preachers, like we got an old guy over at Cornerstone pastor, was locked up for murder. Was locked up for murder. You know that church should be filled with all killers. To be honest with you, it should be it should be all killers and murders, no matter who does, who got another chance. That church should be filled with people like that.
Right.
But you look at the facade of saying that because he's dressed and the way that they got a degree or they speak, you know. But like I said, that's because God has changed this man.
Yeah.
But he still has a source in him that can draw you closer to the same God that changed him. But I tell the young men, let the defense down. We cannot help. We cannot do anything until you stop being defensive.
Yeah. But that's going to come without patience too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we'll try to force our beliefs or force our truth into a world of where they are mentally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to receive if we just come off as that pastor up front. Like meaning looking like a pastor, if that's even a look these days, pastors.
But a lot of pastors don't come off like that. We come off with but we can't sit down and pop a 40, and we can't sit down and pop out Patron and Hennessy and roll one up. We got to come to you saying, hey, how you doing today? Right. I got to come there and talk to you. I got to break the ice or break the glass in order for me to reach you. I'm not going to hit you with David or Saul. I'm going to hit you where you are. But that's what I say. But you got to let that defense down to see what I'm getting ready to speak about.
I love it. Okay. Ooh, this conversation is so good. I'm loving all of this. So I hear what you're saying, and I really love what you're saying about for us to get men into the church, that we have to calm ourselves down. Whether it's the father or the mother saying to their child, the girlfriend or the wife talking to their partner to say, hey, I'm going to go to church tomorrow. I know we was doing this last night, but I think I'm going to go to church tomorrow. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about was when, as you stated before, how a couple was smoking and drinking and partying, going to the club, playing spades and all that in the living room or in the dining room and all, at the club or whatever. But she gets to this space in her life that she doesn't want to do that life anymore. And now her partner is like, what you doing? Like, this ain't what we do. Well, I woke up one morning and just felt like something hit me and I need to change up something. He shouldn't be defensive or make her feel small either.
Right.
Correct?
Correct. And that's why I said, if he was to throw that back on you earlier, I said, if he was to throw you back on you, said, truth be told, this is not how we met.
Right.
But he held back. He's holding that back. He's just going throughout the day. That's why I said, plant those seeds.
Yeah.
And watch how they grow.
And when he feels that way, what can he say to himself in that moment, seeing his partner do something different that they've never done before? How she's supporting him and doing what he wants to do, but how can he support her and letting her be where she is?
Y'all making this easy for her. Because the reason why I said it's make it easy, I was like, okay, like it's easy. And I tell anybody this, have an interaction with him. Until you on the road of demise, like Saul, who became Paul later on, and where Jesus met him at. Saul was on his way to point out more people and accuse them of slandering and bringing this Jesus guy forth and trying to, bash God. Right. Saul was getting ready. He was on his way to do something, but he had an interaction with Jesus on a road. And that road was called destruction.
Yes.
And see, when you have an interaction with Jesus on your road of destruction, then you would never know how important it is for you to have a relationship.
Right.
And so when you own that road of demise, so now you're sitting here thinking, what have I done all my life where now Jesus had to step in to save me?
Yeah.
And that's a lot. And that's the Saul. That's a Saul that's in all of us.
Right.
Saul was just doing what he was doing. He thought he was doing something good and defending it.
Yeah.
But that road that Saul was on was heading down to destruction.
Right.
Now, what if Jesus didn't step in and Jesus said, this is it right here. You've been looking for me, but here I am. He could have destroyed Saul right there. But instead, he gave Saul another chance. And watch this, change his name.
Yes, he did.
And that's what we all have to look at and say that on this road that I am, I got to have an interaction with him. Yeah. My interaction came in when I was out there hustling. Your interaction came into what you were doing. Your interaction came into it. Yeah. And look at you now. You're on your way to receive awards for a show right now. Right. And so then everybody who may be watching got to have that interaction, no matter what it is. And that husband or that boyfriend who's married or is tied in, yes, he probably had an interaction with him because we don't know how he was talking to her.
Right.
That she woke up one morning and said, I can get back in the church.
Right.
Well, that'd be the same way how Jesus talked to the husband or boyfriend, is that he had to have that interaction so he can hear him speak.
And I can speak to that because I mentioned earlier about how my mother was in church and my dad wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
For up until, I won't say my dad, I was 12, 13 maybe.
Okay.
14 when he got in the church. Because up until that point, I hadn't seen my daddy walk into a church at all.
Wow.
My mama would take me, but I ain't seen him.
How did that feel for you?
When he came back? I don't think it felt no different. It was just like, so this is what happened. So I got into some trouble. I had to be 14. Yeah, I had to be 13, 14. My birthday, actually.
Oh.
I'm out with two of my guys at 13, 14 in a stolen car. And we got pulled over. So, of course, boom, fast forward. Call my dad to come get me.
Right.
We go back home. He's fussing. And you going to church with your mama every Sunday.
Right.
That was supposed to be a punishment.
But he wasn't going to church at that time.
Wow.
And he's a guy that doesn't like hypocrisy. So as this is from him telling me the story, he felt like he was contradicting himself. Ooh. He was being a hypocrite to himself because it's like, how I'm going to tell my son to go and I didn't go. But that didn't make him go right then.
Right.
But I think that started to sit on his heart.
Yeah.
And he actually went, my younger sister had to sing or something at the church. And she asked him to come. And he came. And that was it right there. So
see, your dad knew something important about God.
Yeah, he started. Well, his father was also a pastor.
Well, yeah, but the thing about it was already it was implemented already. It was planted in him. Yeah. But for him to tell you, you go to church every Sunday with your mother, he knew the value of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knew the importance of it, where you didn't see it yet. Yeah. So he knew it, but he was just something was, born between him, and because his father may went. That's a big deal. Like is when your father go and he's up there talking about doing scripture. Because my grandfather we got a total of 27 pastors in our family.
Wow.
Maybe 27, maybe up to about 30 because they're getting younger. So we got 27. So that means that each family, that represent our family has a pastor in it. Okay. And so then when I had my granddaddy, and the granddaddy used to throw the scriptures at me. I mean, he used to talk to me and God said, and I'm like, come on, man, talk to me real. Come on. And he used to throw it out. And so then imagine what your father did hear from your grandfather.
Yeah.
And so then with that being said is that it may push them to say, I'm a shield from God for right now. And that's what a lot of people do. is that
They
when
live
it's
life.
when it's way on yours, it's thrown at you all the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm being honest, I was the same way. I was like, my uncle played piano throughout Nashville.
Okay.
So I'm a PK kid because my uncle, he's my father, but he was a piano. You know, he played piano for like 13,000 churches. So Sunday, and like I said, Sunday, I'm in church I'm in there to about almost close to 1 o'clock. Cover our time. So then my mind, I'm thinking to when I get 17, it's over with.
It's over, yeah.
17, and then because I'm getting ready to graduate, 18, I'm getting ready to do it. I'm gonna come back to church, but not knowing that the church was already in me.
Yeah.
No matter how far where I go, it was already in me. So yeah, and so then
church. Can I change that language?
Yeah.
God was in you.
Well, see, the thing about it, the God was in you, but the church is in you because you will always remember what God was said was in the church. Because see, the church house, like I said, is just a building. Right. But remember, Jesus said, I'm coming back for my church.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? He said, I'm coming back for my church. And so then when Jesus comes back for his church, it's not going to be a building.
Right. It's for his people.
It's coming for people. So that's why I said the church is in me. And so then everything that was preached in, everything that was sung, every prayer started to come out of me. I knew that it was a source. I got to go back to reading the word. I had to go back to praying. I had to go back doing no matter. And like I said, the guys that tell you I used to hang out with gang members or drug, they tell you all the time, man, you shouldn't be out here. Why you out here with us? Because you're the positive one. You the one that give us scripture. You the one that's praying. You know what I'm saying? You can relate. So he used to say that as well. And I'm like, man, maybe I'm different. No matter how much I try to fit in and try to do, it was something that would not let me rest in that lifestyle.
Yeah. Wow. I can definitely relate with that.
Yeah. Right.
When I think about it, it's like, man, I remember I probably was out of church for at least 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, out of church. Like, I wasn't even professing to be a Christian. I wasn't talking about Jesus. Jesus wasn't nowhere near on my radar.
Wow.
As far as my mindset, I wasn't thinking about it. I was on something else.
Right.
But when it come down to it, and it got to a point, I had a lot of friends starting to fall off. And what I mean by fall off, they were just going their way. Right. They were just doing their thing. I was involved in music. Music was starting to become, it wasn't fulfilling.
Right.
Because of course, we're not doing gospel. We're not doing it. We on something totally different. And it just, for me, it started to become, it wasn't fulfilling. It was not fun. It wasn't feeding me. Nothing was feeding me at that time. And so I was in silence. I was like, man, what's going on? Like, I ain't feeling my music like I used to feel. Right. I didn't, I was losing passion and love for it. And all the time, it's like, you got to go back home. Like, you got to go back. It's time for you to go, but for me, and not for my dad, not for my mama, not for anybody. I ain't have a wife at that time. I was single. So it was time for me to go for me. And I still hadn't had that personal encounter yet.
Yes.
I just knew I needed to get back.
It was something
to church. Yeah,
something
it's like
that was
I need
in
to
you.
Get back. I probably didn't have my encounter probably maybe a year and a half later. Real live, and I was on the phone with my mama.
Wow.
Ooh-wee.
That's some good stuff.
Yeah,
but that's what it's that feeling, no matter how much, like I said, and people could see it. People knew something about you. They knew something different about you.
Yeah.
And it went from there.
Yeah.
Wow. This has been a great conversation. I love sitting in the room and being the only lady and having to hear these great conversations with these great men. Y'all, I want to say thank you, Pastor Holmes, for sharing a word with us today. Truly, yeah. Also, if you wanted to leave us with something for the men out there and going back to church, what would you say? You got 30 seconds.
For the men, like I said, don't think that you have all the time in the world. And also know that there's a young man or a young woman that you call son or daughter that is watching everything that you are doing. So if you live a lifestyle and you're showing a lifestyle that you trust and that you need God, they are going to see and say that I need the same thing. Like I told you before, I saw with grandmama, she prayed. Yeah. And when we didn't have enough food or we didn't have enough clothes, the prayer somehow clothes and food was always there on the table. May not been steak and may not been some Debbie cakes, but it was some homemade chocolate chip cookies and it was some beans and rice. So trust God.
Thank you
All
for
right,
that.
man. All right. How can
Yes.
we reach you or anybody out there that watches this? How can they reach? How can they get in touch with you?
Oh yeah, Greater Faith. You can go to greaterfaith.me. We have a website. We have our own domain, greaterfaith.me. You can catch us on Greater Faith on, Instagram, Facebook. We're located at 616 17th Avenue North. That's the historical Joe Johnson, as well as the historical Pearl High School, which is now AKA Martin Luther King.
Right.
Okay.
You can come there Sunday mornings at 10:30. We're having service. Tomorrow we're getting ready to celebrate 8 years
All
Okay.
right.
of being in existence. And so
Congratulations.
everybody, we're feeding, we're eating. I'm trying to get them there to eat, but spiritually
wanna
and
fight.
physically food as
Oh,
well.
Make somebody
So,
fit.
yeah,
Always.
yeah, we're gonna
All
eat.
this
We're gonna
big
eat there. We're gonna eat there.
All right.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
love it. Again, thank you so much
No, thank you.
for this conversation.
Yeah,
We
been great.
appreciate you, and hopefully we can have you back.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
answer.
that's good.
Definitely.
Well, I'm not going to end today. I'm going to let my co-host in as he starts, and then maybe I can jump in and give a little something. How you want to do it today, co-host?
Look, this is what I'm just gonna say, hey, young man, grown man, older man, if you feel something on the inside, if you feel something tugging at you, listen to it.
Mm.
Listen to it. That's God. That's God getting your attention. Letting you know I'm right here. No matter how far out you are, God's still right there.
Still right there.
But you gotta, hey, listen to the tug and listen to the pull, listen to what's on the inside of you.
And watch God do what he do.
And be patient with yourself. Give yourself
Some
grace.
grace.
You do not have to be perfect to walk in somebody's church doors.
That's some good stuff right there. Hey,
So,
I'm your girl, Shay Fowler, She Life Coach. This is my boy, Kevin.
Kellen Haynes.
And we hope you have enjoyed this conversation. We are celebrating men for November because it is Men's Month. So stay tuned for the next one. Until next time, stay in good soil.
All right. I love y'all. Peace. Push.